today's team builder is going to be very interesting. As if it's not. It should be pretty straight to the point because this particular team is more screw it. I think that was the best way to put it. Screw it. Let's have some fun and give things a whirl versus me being super meticulous on this. And that's because I don't think Iron Leaves is going to stay OU. So, I was debating, should I go let's go all out to make Iron Leaves work when in all reality, it's very unlikely there'll be any long-term benefit to that. So we can still apply the team building principles to the team, but it doesn't have to be trying to force a round peg in a square hole, if you know what I mean. So that being said, I decided, okay, let's go all in, right? So all in looks like we're gonna all in on making this thing work with all the support it would require. And that's what the mindset was behind this team. As I said, this should be relatively short. I wouldn't be shocked to see it under 10 minutes, but you know how Jam gets, so maybe not. So Iron Leaves, right? So initially, shout outs to PokeMD. Joey released a video. I scanned through the sets, and a lot of them have Terra. And Terra Fire here, right? So Iron Leaves stats, attack is quite decent, SPDF is quite good, and speed is decent enough. And so, obviously its biggest asset's going to be attack. So it's like, okay, that means it needs to be attacking things and picking up KOs, right? The defense isn't bad either. It can take a hit or two from something. So, okay, it needs to attack things. Fair enough. All right, so when it attacks, because of its mid-defensive typing, it probably needs to kill the things it attacks. So, all right. Okay, we need more power. And initially, I had Terra Blast here. Terra Fire, Joey was saying, was quite good, and I agree from a coverage standpoint. However, we'll get to its other teammate that I ended up putting on there, and I was like, well, I don't want to commit this to, because when you run Terra Blast, it puts you in an awkward spot where you almost have to commit to Terra, and 2 Mons on this team would have Terra Blast, and I was like, okay, who's a better Terra Blast user? And so I decided, okay, well, I probably could put I'll put Terra Fighting. Terra Fighting isn't bad. You can change in a fighting type and not be weak to Gambit, Sucker Punch. I can also see the fighting having other benefits, but we'll put a Terra Fighting here. And I'll break that down in a sec. So yeah, so we're gonna Terra Fighting, go all in, electric terrain, all the fun things, all the funs and such. There are a couple of electric terrain mods. I haven't used Iron Hands ever. Well, I did early meta, but I've never built with it. And Iron Thorns, as you're gonna see, made this squad. So, the first thing about team building is, what's the objective? So the objective is to build around Iron Leaves, ensure that since it's an offensive Pokemon, it comes in and attacks. It has solid bulk, but it's not gonna be switching in on things, or it shouldn't be switching in on things very often. Hence the Life Orb. We want to go all in. So we're going to get a Court Drive boost a lot of the time because there are no opposing terrains other than electric, other than psychic from time to time. And you're going to get the Life Orb boost. So it's very powerful just off jump. Excuse me. And then we're going to just go all the way and keep going. So obviously, you're going to have some electric terrain, and there's only one electric terrain user. So we're going to be using the Goat Pinchurican. I don't even know what this thing runs typically. I just maxed it. I don't think that's that important, but if there's a particular set it runs to optimize for the blah blah blah, go on Smogon and optimize it. Again, the team is never done until we actually hit the ladder and use it and see, okay, can we handle most things? And so Pinchurican most of the time is going to be in. Now I put Recover and Support, no attacks. So I'm like, I don't think I want it to be lacking the ability to stick around, meaning like you send it in once and that's it, right? This team is far more of an offensive nature, but it's also not hyper offense, meaning it's just sack switch, primarily because the mons I'm using don't have the firepower to just muscle through. Electric terrain Valiant would obviously be helpful, but Valiant has a lot of walls, like a lot of things can wall Valiant. So it wouldn't be muscling through a team just because it got electric terrain up. Hariyama thing is slow. Iron Hands. So the electric terrain abusers aren't super overwhelming to where like the photosynthesis users can overwhelm far more so than especially because some of them would do any of them get the sun boost? Either way, like they can Terrafire and get a sun boost. And the electric terrain obviously is just 1.3, I believe. It used to be 1.5 in Gen 7, but they nerfed it. So terrain user, nothing too crazy here. Spikes, toxic spikes to assist Iron Leaves, right? So it can pick up them KOs after +2. Thirdly, I decided to put screen support with this team so Iron Leaves can get setups more easily, as well as Iron Thorns, as we're gonna get to. And the Grimmsnarl has the move Parting Shot, which decreases attack and special attack, which also helps Iron Leaves get free switches and sets up. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go all in on the support. These three mons kind of had to be on there. It's like, yo, all in on less support. I have not, I will admit, scrolled through the tier and been as meticulous with checking type combos and stuff. Truth be told, when I was building this, I was like, you know, let's have some fun with let's have some fun with Iron Leaves and throw some things on there. I vaguely scanned through the tier. I was like, I can check most things and have a solution for most things. So I think this was work for the most part, but I could be overlooking some things, and we'll find out as we begin to play, right? So Parting Shots, Reflect Light Screen are a beautiful thing to support. We have the mandatory Great Tusk. Now, like, Jan, come on, Great Tusk again. Like this, you're using electric terrain. This has to be your excuse to use Iron Threads, right? Because it gets the boost, and you know you can switch Iron Threads out. Iron Threads is just mad mid to me. It's solid-ish, but it's still just it's insanely inferior to Great Tusk. So, and secondly, the Tusk Iron Threads pretty much is never sweeping, whereas Great Tusk can. We've seen in the previous team and several teams before. Though this is like technically the same set as Threads. I don't like Threads' weaknesses, and I can't stand the fact that Tusk comes in on Threads so confidently. But you know, there may be a case for it. I also like having the Gambit switching, but as I said, you know, Threads might have a case here, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is the one time it makes sense, especially because they may get a speed boost, which can be helpful. So you know, this is one of the few times where I was like, okay, maybe, especially versus Glamora. Do I put Threads on this shit? Threads is so mid. Because what I'm looking at is Gambit. Gambit is a really bit annoying mon if I have Threads on here. That's what I was thinking about when I'm like, Gambit would really give me a hard time, especially if it hasn't terrored by the time it starts coming in. Not even with a Swords Dance, with just the falls, it would be annoying, because Grimmsnarl can't taunt it, and so it can just Swords Dance infinitely on my Grimmsnarl, which would just completely ignore my Reflect. And then if it's Terrafire or Lumberry, Rotom can't neutralize it, and I'm a Spadef Rotom. So Shrive Iron Leaves, kind of. But as I said, that's not ultra reliable, especially if it dies early in the game, to make way for the other two. So because Gambit is like number 3 in usage, I'm going to opt for Tusk for now. Now this is probably more exciting, if not equally as exciting, as Iron Leaves, which is Iron Thorns. And that's because I've been debating making an Iron Thorns team for a while now. Because I think it actually is legit right now. Like, if you think about the things, look at the tier. Like, let's say Amoonguss dead, Amarouge dead, Azumarill dead, Bax can die because it gets the Terra boost. Not the Terra boost. It gets the Terra boost from Terra Blast, but the Court Drive boost to its attack. So I think, and +1. So after rocks, it might die. Breloom dead, Cinderace dead, Clodsire dead, Corviknight dead. On those though, I mean, with the terrain boost, the stab, and the electric and the core drive, it'll do a bit. Probably won't one shot, but you know, it'll do quite a bit. Definitely beats it 1v1. Polt dead. Dragonite. E-speed will hurt, but it's winning. Garchomp, once it realizes, like depending on the turn you DD, if Garchomp comes and tries to EQ you, Terra, and then Terra Blast doesn't make contact, Garchomp's out the way. Guard can get dropped on the face. Goldengo gets dropped. Great Tusk gets dropped. Greninja gets dropped. Hattering's getting dropped. Hydreigon dropped. Iron Lee's dropped. Iron Moth dropped. Iron Thread's dropped. Iron Valiant dropped, even though Valiant probably get a speed boost, but still. Gambit dropped. Everybody's getting dropped unless you're a Tinglu. So, you know, it's threatening. It's very offensively threatening. Execution wise, it's very difficult to pull off, which is why I decided to really over-index on the screens and the support. And so that's what Iron Thorn is. Pretty simple set. Flying and ground is amazing coverage. And then we're going to have the stab Thunder Punch to round that out, because flying and ground, while amazing neutral coverage, does have some things that just straight counter it, like Corviknight, Rotom. But Thunder Punch covers a neutral hit on all those, right? Or Air Balloon, Goldengo. And so lastly, we're going to have Spadef, Rotom. A lot of special attackers are rising, you know, so I'm going to opt for Spadef. Primarily for Roaring Walking Wake. I was going to say Roaring Wake. Walking Wake. Yeah, we don't want smoke with that guy. Like, not unprotected smoke, you know what I mean? So, what does that even mean? Unprotected smoke. That sounds unhealthy, man. I'm not gonna go into why. You know exactly why. Y'all are adults. But unprotected smoke. Where does this shit come from? But Rotom's really just a patching, as well as giving me the ability to volt switch. Something about, because this is parting shot switching and volt switching, allow these two beasts to get free switches, because they're not the type of mons that switch into things. They're the type that need free switches. So Rotom's volt switching, Rotom's one of the most annoying mons in the tier, and it forced it in grass types a lot, like Amoonguss, which Iron Leaves damn sure wants smoke with, and it forces in things like Baxcalibur, which Iron Leaves also wants smoke with. What else? Dragons. Maybe I'm forgetting something else, but they're things. And it gives Grimmsnarl. And Grimmsnarl, parting shot acts as a U-turn. So I got a parting shot volt switch combination to get these bad boys in. And that's pretty much it, my friends. I'm excited to hop on the ladder. The live will be later today, so stay tuned for that. Hit the like button down below. Keep killing it with love. I appreciate you all. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.